pressing feels so good. So we decided to do something a little different. We're at my humble abode, my garage gym, the Jack Shack is what I like to call it. To kind of show you how, this is how I typically train like 3 or 4 days here. So, and this also gives a good opportunity to kind of show exercise that most of you guys might have, because the gym I train at has so many like different specialized machines and shit that you probably don't have. So I just like more basics like dumbbells and barbells, cables, things like that. But little gym tour. Got the Prime Fitness functional trainer with all the attachments that you can think of. And then we got the Rogue belt squat here, which is ironic because I don't really use it for belt squats. I use it pretty much for like RDLs and rows now. Various attachments and belts and things like that. Then we have the Prime Fitness leg curl, leg extension, plate loaded combo. This is pretty cool because you basically get 2 pieces in one, but it only takes up footprint of one. And then we got dumbbells up to 140, all different kinds. And then a bunch of different kind of bars here. We got like the Kabuki bar, I'll probably use that today. Safety squat bar, easy curl bar, a bunch of different barbells and a deadlift bar. And then I just have a basic Rogue like squat stand. And I've got the rock kind of cheering me on. But today we're gonna do chest again. So I know we've already done chest, but this will kind of give you guys a different kind of way how I train on different days. So I do train chest twice a week. This one's gonna be more like heavy, less supersets, more of like a strength-based workout. Because when you're limited on equipment, you don't have as many exercises to choose from, but you could just you just do more of it. So I might do like, more sets and things like that than I did last week or last time I filmed chest. But it is a good, you still get a good workout in. It's just you just gotta go harder and put more effort on the stuff you can. But just like we started that last week, last chest workout, I think it was like 3 weeks ago now, we're gonna start with flies. That's how I start all my chest workouts with. So here, since I'm not restricted on the bench, I can kind of lean to where I want to get. So I get all the weight in my hands, and then I kind of position forward here, and then I'm able to really rock through. So I'm able to really focus like I'm hitting the most muscular here. So I'm kind of like scooping my hands forward to where I hit the most muscular. And I like to do this one for people that have a hard time feeling chest, and you kind of you're here. So you have no choice but to really use your chest and take the shoulders out of it. But this is just the warm up. Too old to be fucking going right into like barbell pressing and shit like I used to. Plus, like I said before, you get the activation and things like that, which is important. Especially if you have a hard time feeling chest. So I always recommend doing some form of fly or like pec deck or something before you're pressing. So we're just squeezing through. I'm keeping my hips back and I'm just rocking with my chest. So I'm opening, closing, right? What we talked about. And the way I like to set the cables up is like right about like my head, my eyes. If you have the option to do standing over like a seated fly, I would be standing every single time. Unless you have like a broken leg or some shit and just need to do something seated, but if you're able, I would do standing. And the reason being is because in order to properly flex your chest, you have to be able to balance. So I need to know how to like move my body and balance my body while I'm doing this. Because if I'm just too far forward and I'm just here, it's just shoulders, right? You don't see my chest doing shit. But watch this, when I open up and I'm rocking back, you see my chest starting to fucking gauge. But you see a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just be here and they'll get their weight so far forward. Of course that's fucking easier. You got 270 pounds on you that way. But those are also the same guys or girls You see walking around like this. Because their shoulders are just so fucking rounded. Like a fucking caveman or something. Yeah, last week was, or on Saturday was cool filming with the dudes, but it's hard to talk with them around them. Yeah, it's just like, I'd be talking and they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm not talking to you. And Brendan like thinks he needs to add his 2 cents into every fucking thing. Because he's a Navy chief. And like, you can fucking keep this in there. Navy chiefs, they fucking like to be heard, whether it's wanted or not. And it's not me talking shit. That's just a fact. They know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. Every chief wants you to like have their opinion. So I always listen to their opinion. I go, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The worst is when they're at a meeting and they're like, does anybody have any oh by the ways? It's like a Navy thing, right? A chief guarantee you that there's gonna be an ESA or above. Have an oh by the way. The meeting could end. You everybody could go. Done. We're done. Like that's all I got. Anybody have any oh by the ways? There's always that one. Stretches it like 15 minutes longer. It's always a chief. So now I'm gonna start doing the flies with the press, like we were last week. I got heavy. So I'm gonna do dumbbell presses now. I like to do just like a little incline. So I got this one set at 15 degrees, but it's also like on top of this. So it's probably like a little bit more. But I don't like to do completely flat or like super incline. I just like little small inclines. If I do too much of an incline, it's like a shoulder press for me. So we're focused on driving back as we press up. So catching, pressing, catching, pressing. But far too many people try to overdo dumbbell presses. There's a lot of guys I see at the gym. Like you need to be able to catch the weight like this. So I have my shoulders set back, scapula back and all that stuff, weight in my palms, and then I just fall back and I'm already in my pressing position. So if you can't catch the weight and hold it here, like I have it, it's too heavy. A lot of people, they end up, I mean, I almost don't want to do it because it's like fucks up your shoulders, but like, I'll show you. The weight's just far too heavy, and they're like this, and they're like this, and they're like, right? That's too heavy, man. If you can't hold this, that position, it's like fucking weight you don't need to be doing. So the first reps, like that fucking lift their butt up and they like squeal it up. What do you think that's doing to your shoulders? And then you're not in position to actually press powerfully and feel your muscles you want. Because now your shoulders are probably rolled forward. The guys you see press, like big guys and shit, pressing dumbbells, they're controlling that fucking weight. So if they do 100, I'm just using fake numbers, 100 for 10, and you do your 100 for like a fucking squabbly 10, it's a different fucking exercise, man. Different stimulus. It's not the same thing. And then on the other side of the token, you got guys that try to go super perfect with their form all the time and are just too scared to jump up and weight, and they never progress either. So there's that fine line. What I'll usually do is I'll like work up my weight, maybe the top sets or whatever get a little sloppy, but I'm getting heavier weight in my hands, and then I'll clean it up over time. But you gotta make those jumps every now and then. I don't like my 140s though, man. They're like if I do the 140s at iron, they'd feel way different than these ones. Yeah. The handle's like super small. And then like, you see this part right here that sticks out? So I put it on my fucking legs, dude. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, I mean, they're good for what they are, but and I got them cheap as fuck locally. It's pig iron, man. Pig iron hits different, man. Pig iron fucking hits different. CT Fletcher fucking knows about that shit. It's that old school weight. It's just heavier, man. Like, you could tell these were like made a long time ago. Because they got that like little round. Like, this is the style back then, you know? It's just like old weight, man. Pig iron, like rusted dumbbells or like fucking barbells. Like rusted 45s and shit. That shit just hits heavier, man. I don't know why, like scientifically. There probably isn't an answer, but it just does. That's so heavy as fuck.
Grinder rep.
How's it going? I haven't done these in like a couple weeks, and I haven't done them like on this big of an incline. My pressing always goes down when I'm dieting. It's the first thing usually goes for most people. When you're just like fucking fat, it's just like, oh yeah. Just pressing feels so good. But when you lose weight, you lose those leverages. So like, I'll hold strength very, very good, if not get stronger on like back and legs, but my pressing goes down. And I think I get better in legs because my joints feel better, because there's less inflammation and shit, and you're not like carrying around all that extra body weight. Same thing with back. I never lose strength in back, but pressing. So I just try to hold on to pressing as much as I can. Like, I'm not like fucking, you know, gonna go cry because I didn't fucking set a PR in fucking dumbbell presses today. I'm done with this motherfucker. I used these the other day, and like I did an Instagram story, like dumbbell rows. I was doing like chest supported dumbbell rows on those, and everybody's talking shit about my big ass Flintstone dumbbells. And these motherfuckers don't even own a house. Like, I got a fucking home gym. Like, I bought this shit. You guys are sitting there in your fucking apartments with your fucking gym membership.
Reposting the Mr. Beast story.
I reposted the Mr. fucking Beast story. Meanwhile, I fucking got a house and I fucking own all this shit. Like, this shit costs a lot of money. Like, people don't realize that. But they want to talk shit about the stuff I have in my home gym. It's all mine. So if the world shuts down again, it's my fucking shit. I can train whenever the fuck I want. So we'll do the 125 probably for two sets or so. All right, so these ones work on a little bit more control. And I'm sorry, I can't talk through these like when I'm pressing like heavy dumbbells like this. It's different if I'm on a machine. I'm safer, but I gotta kind of be focused. But we're really just trying to do this. So let's get rock forward, rock back. That's what a dumbbell press is, right? So as long as we get that, it's good. And people are different on where they put their elbows. Mine are a little bit more in than most. Like, I see some guys go out here more, which I'm not a big fan of that, because it puts a lot of strain on your shoulders, and it's susceptible to a pec tear. So I'd rather be in and I can get more around my chest that way, versus if I'm out here. So you see my chest isn't moving, but if I'm here, it is. So it just kind of makes sense to press that way then. You know Seth Rossi?
I don't think so.
Action Sledge dude? Functional and fuckable?
Oh, I saw you posted about him, yeah.
You know Seth? Yeah, he's a fucking well-known dude. Super fucking funny, super fucking cool. But I'm gonna do that. He does like what's called supersets. So he'll do like let's just say I do the 125s for 10 again. Well, I cut that in half, so let's just say I don't have 65, so we'll just do 60s, and I gotta double the reps.
Oh, okay.
And then you just keep going and you can double them, so it's just however long it takes. So it's a form of like a drop set, but. So I did 10, so now I think I did 10, I lost count. Did you count? I think it was 10.
I can't even count on the sets.
I suck at it, man. Especially on rows.
Yeah.
I always fuck up on rows. So I get these for 20. Sure burns. All right, so now I'm gonna use that kabuki bar. So on this one, I take like the medium grip. So there's 3, if you wanna look at it. There's like the close, the medium, and then the super wide one. The wide one's just way too wide, man. It like fucking makes me feel like my shoulders are gonna fall out. And then the middle one's like, it's pretty decent for triceps actually. Like on certain exercises, it's very close with how wide my shoulders are. But we'll do a 20-degree incline here. Like I said, I don't like super steep inclines for chest, so 20 is pretty steep for me. I think anything more than that, I'm getting a lot more front delts, which is cool, but that's just not what I'm trying to do right now. So when I think on this one, I'm thinking of breaking out my elbows first. So I got a lot of weight in my back, and then I just kind of bend my elbows, and I let it sink down here, and then I rock back up. You don't want to be like this, where I'm like moving shoulders first, so I feel like you can't get open as much. And then you kind of lose your chest, and it ends up being more shoulders. So kind of just, it's kind of like dip elbows down, get up, rock back up. I can't do as much weight when I do it like that, but I do feel a lot more in my chest. It's a little heavy out of this dumbbell versus, I don't even go any heavier. We'll keep here. So we'll superset these though. So we'll go back to the flies, but I'm gonna pull from lower. So in theory, this is more upper pec. So still get the weight in my hands, still get my shoulders forward a little bit, and I still rock. But I'm more scooping up. And I'm bringing my chest to my chin. Yeah, so key on that one, you want to get length. That way you're stretching out all that at the bottom and then come up through. So I'm bringing my chest to my chin. You gotta change spots.
Yeah, my fault.
Very good. So I'm actually gonna bring this up just a little bit from the last one. So I thought it was like a little too low. If you get too low, it's like Mondo front delt. So also I want to get a little bit more forward too, so I get that length I was talking about right here. And then I just lift sternum, come through. Lift sternum, come through. And by lifting my sternum, I'm bringing it to my chin. Closing that gap. That'll be it for that superset. So yeah, 4 sets of dumbbell presses with the set. Then we did 3 sets of each of those. All pretty close to failure, if not to failure. Like, I obviously don't go to failure on this by myself here in the garage. Like, you're holding a fucking camera, so you're gonna help me. So you kind of just gotta know, like, when, hey, I'm not gonna get another one. And it's not worth it. It's not worth me getting hurt for that one more rep. It's all about, like, over time. But if you got a buddy that you're training with, or someone that's working out with you or at the gym at the same time as you and you trust them, ask for a spot, you know, if you're gonna push it. But I kind of like training without a spotter because it takes my temptation to want to, like, do that force rep, you know? Because if I know, like, you're spotting me, for instance, I would have went for one more on that last one. Yeah. And you'd have probably had to help a little bit, and I would have screamed it up, but it could have, like, ruined my shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or something. So for me, at this stage in my life, it's just kind of better training without a spotter. That's why I like training alone too, because I don't have, like, the need to, like, beat my buddy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like training legs the other day. Like, I don't try keeping up with Brendan, man.
Yeah.
I got fucking, my femurs are 2 feet longer than his. That's why he does more in pendulums and hacks than I do. So it'd be stupid for me to, like, keep up with that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, say when I was your age starting out lifting, you know, a 315 squat might have been a lot back then. I don't remember. At some point, a 315 squat was a lot. Mm-hmm. But now let's say we're squatting 5. That's a lot more damage to the body, you know? So you have to, the stronger you get, the less you have to do, you know? But, and then it kind of, you get to that point where you're, like, super strong. Then you get to a point where you're like, all right, I don't need to be this strong anymore. And then you're kind of like at my point where you're like, let me figure out how to make these weights heavier. Mm-hmm. So, like, you saw in those barbell presses, like, I just put 2 plates on, man. Like, I could put 3 on. I could fucking get it up. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather just, like, fire my chest using 2 plates than using my chest, triceps, shoulders, lower back, lats, and everything to get it up.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next day, I'm like, fuck, dude, my elbows are fucking wrecked. Now I can't train arms because my elbows are fucked, you know? The best arm exercise is the ones that doesn't hurt your elbow.
Yeah.
Because if you hurt your elbows, it affects, you can't train arms hard, you can't train back hard, you can't train chest hard.
Yeah.
You can't train shoulders hard.
You can't train anything over body.
Yeah. So that best arm exercise is the ones that don't hurt your elbows. So this one I'm kind of doing like a decline. So we kind of do more incline. So now you can see how I kind of have the cable set up higher, and I'm kind of like pressing down. So you see I'm like flexing my chest down. What's good about this one is you could converge in because the cables, like we talked about the dumbbells last time, was once it goes past your shoulder, it's just gonna be shoulder, not chest. But since the force is coming from outside, it carries all the way in. So you're able to really get the chest flex like that. Now I'm gonna do superset like we have been. I'm gonna do dips. But when we do dips for chest, let me catch my breath because I need to explain this one. It's not just coming up and down like you would if you're just trying to do like dips for weight or reps or whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my feet forward and my hips back. So I'm gonna kind of be like this. Let's see from the side. So when my arms are here, my chests are right over the weight. So that's where the load's gonna be. It's gonna be on my chest. You don't need to lean forward like most people think with the weight back. That's gonna make more shoulder. Most people say lean forward for chest. It's bullshit. What you gotta do is you gotta bring your hips back. But by putting my feet forward, it lines it up where gravity is right in line with my upper pec. Or my pec, not my upper pec. So I'm putting feet forward, hips back, and then I'm just flexing up with my chest. And those are hard. So you could try those and you'd be like, fuck, dude. Those are fucking nuts. It's way different than like with your feet back and you just like pump it out as much as you can because you're over and you can really flex what you want to flex. So I like those a lot for chest. Like it's one of my favorite chest exercises. Yeah, you should try. You should put them in on your chest day, for sure.
Yeah, I've been doing dips on my arm day, but it's more tricep focus. So.
Here's my thing, man. I don't think dips are a great tricep exercise.
Really?
Because remember when I said the best exercise is the one that doesn't hurt your elbows?
Mm-hmm.
You start getting really good at dips and you start putting a lot of weight on,
Yeah.
your elbows are gonna get fucking hurt. It never did much for my triceps.
Yeah.
So for guys that I have like just need overall size, like I don't care if it's their arms, their shoulders, their chest, whatever, I have them do a lot of weighted dips. Because I do feel like if you're just getting that weight up and you're moving your body through that space, that plane, that space, you're gonna get big. Whether it's gonna be your shoulders, your chest, your fucking triceps, whatever your body kind of more than wants to use, it works. For me, it was mostly shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I used to put like 180, 200 pounds around my waist and like hit fucking sets of like 6 and 8 or whatever. And it made my bench press go way up when I was powerlifting.
Yeah.
Like crazy, yeah. So those are hard right after the cable because we're hitting like a decline movement, which is basically like a dip movement. So it's like super fatigued, and you go right into that with 265 or whatever. Fucking heavy. But that's why I like doing the dips second. So I'm pre-exhausted. So I don't like the. So A, I don't have to add weight. B, I'm not gonna do like a million reps. So it's second in the superset, and it's also later on in the workout, like the fifth exercise. But when I was coming up, I would do them like first. And I would just fucking try to move as much weight as I could. You just gotta be careful though. But that's what, like you mentioned, that's the good thing that's the thing about dips. It's based off your levers and how your body moves. Will depend on kind of where the load goes. So you're saying you use more triceps. I never got that effect on dips.
Yeah.
No, it's most like, unless I'm doing it the way I'm doing right now, it's mostly shoulder for me. Some people swear by them for triceps.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't knock any exercise. You know, because if you're feeling dips for triceps, who am I to say that's not working your triceps?
Yeah.
Because it can. It obviously has a function in that movement. It's not like not going to work any tricep. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that if people say like you have to do certain exercises, it's completely bullshit. Because who am I to say that you don't feel it in that area?
Yeah.
Obviously, it fucking works. You know what I mean? So that's why there's all these fucking nerds. They come out with all these like perfect exercises for XYZ body part. And that's my wife's fucking workout schedule. It's not mine. She's super like, she likes doing this, like putting the dates. And then she'll put all her training on there and shit. Like she likes writing shit down and stuff. I'm not like that. But it's like, you like writing stuff down, do it. Whatever helps you kind of stay focused and on track. You gotta find what that is though. For me, it's not writing shit down. I just kinda, oh, it's Tuesday, I'm training chest today.
Yeah.
You know, like she'll ask me, what are you doing tomorrow? And it's Tuesday, chest. She's asking like about work and all this other shit. Like, that's like the number one thing on my mind, right? I think that's how most bodybuilders are. Like, if I ask you, what are you doing tomorrow?
That.
See, first thing you said is your body part you're training.
Yeah.
You're not talking about your schoolwork or your fucking videos or fucking whatever else you're doing that day. Like, you ask me what to do tomorrow, I'm gonna say legs.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm fucking driving up to Philadelphia for fucking 3 days.
Yeah.
That's really the main part of my day tomorrow, but it's not on my mind. I ain't even fucking packed yet.
Workout comes first, especially in prep.
Yeah. More so diet, man. You gotta keep the diet on point.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not stressed about like on Thursday. I already know I'm not gonna be able to train because I already looked at my schedule, so I've already kind of planned out my week. But I got like a super busy day on Thursday with the work shit I gotta do. So I'm not gonna like stress out about it. It is what it is. It's what I gotta do. But if I stay on my diet and I get up early and I do my cardio in the morning, that's fine. Take it as a rest day. Stuck on my diet, and that's progress. You know, I'm not gonna worry that I'm like kicked off my normal schedule, which is Thursdays and normally training back. But you know, I'll just skip that.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. People like trip out about that, and they're like, they'll let them like that one little thing they're not doing like derail their whole fucking like progress, or they'll think they failed.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm already like set to my mind like, hey, I'm not going to be able to work out on Thursday. I can't control that. I'm going to control what I can't control. You know what I mean? Whereas if you focus on the shit you can't control, you'll never be good, man. You'll be so stressed out all the fucking time, so unhappy. Once you finally realize and you let it through your mind that you click that you're only worried about the shit you can't control, dude, life's easy. Life's fucking easy. What makes a good pre-workout? So these are the ones I use. So I use Savage. This is the dragon fruit flavor. I really like it. It's probably my favorite one, to be honest with you. And then the pump, non-stem formula. So this one's stems, this one's no stems. They both have nootropics and like pump ingredients in them. So look here, man. So like, see how the average scoop for 2 scoops, so full servings, 2 scoops, is 26.6 grams. So you'll see what on this, the shitty ones that people like end up buying that are cheap, and it makes them feel cracked out, they'll be like 12 grams for 1 serving size, with like 400 grams of caffeine and like a little beta-alanine. So their face itches and they're all fucking whacked out. But that's not giving you like the nootropics, like the tyrosine, you know, there's no like citrulline for like pumps, you know, there's none like, there's fucking alpha GPC for like mental cognition and things like that. Whereas they're just selling you fucking crack in a fucking bottle, but people buy it because A, it's cheap, and they feel like they feel the effects of it, which is the stimulants. Doesn't necessarily make a good pre-workout. But these cheap ones I'm seeing are like 12 grams, 15 grams, 400 milligrams of caffeine, fucking beta-alanine through the ass, so you feel like an itchy face. And then people like that shit because they feel it. But it's not like getting you more pumped, it's not getting you more of this, like mental clarity, all those things. Because a big part of these pre-workouts is getting the pump, getting the blood and the nutrients to the muscles you're working. And so, otherwise, I mean, you could just go to fucking grab an energy drink at that level, because they don't have anything but stims in them anyway. So I think it's just fucking stupid. But they complain about like Savage being the price it is, which it's not like super high, but I get it, it's higher, but it's also a better product. I mean, think about how much time and effort you put into working out. So you're not gonna pay a little bit more to get like a much better product. It's like wanting a Ferrari and then putting regular fucking gasoline in it. You don't do that. If you want a regular gasoline car that looks like a regular car, then fucking do that. But if you want a fucking Ferrari and you care about your body and you want a Ferrari body, put fucking good gasoline in it, premium shit, jet fuel. Pay a little bit extra. So now I'll get into some shoulders. Dumbbell laterals. I love dumbbell laterals. So on these, we'll do a superset. So on shoulders, I talked about, I like doing a lot of supersets. So we're gonna do a strict set where I have my chest against the bar, and I'm just gonna really focus on just getting side delts and getting out like that, a little bit forward, arms a little bit forward like that. Like I've talked about in other videos on Instagram and shit. And then I'm gonna use a little bit more weight, and I'm just gonna like do more of like an upright row and just kind of really rock up and just kind of worry about more everything up top. Because I find like when you try to get too fucking isolated on shoulders, you can miss out on a lot of growth opportunity by going a little heavier. But I never do straight sets for shit like this. It's always supersets. Because shoulders respond to fucking density. So a lot of work in a short period of time. So my shoulders are down. I'm not here. If I'm here, I'm trapped. If I'm here, my shoulders are down, I could scoop out on medial delt. And it's fine to pump these out at the bottom a little bit. You know, once you can't get to the top anymore. Because on these, it's going to be the hardest up here. But once you can't get there, still stay on it. But don't cheat it, just kind of like stay on it. So that way I'm kind of hitting, it's strict, getting blood in there. And then when they're already fatigued, I'm just gonna pump more blood in them with a little heavier of a movement. So I'm gonna kind of bend over, get the weight on the shoulders, and I'm just gonna kind of rock up. Remember, head position's up on these. That's how I built my shoulders. Starting when I was younger, I did a lot of heavy, like upright rows with dumbbells. Really like cheater laterals, but you have to be able to connect with it. So that's why I kind of get a little bit more forward. So I'm too tall, I'm gonna yank at my trap. See how my traps are coming up first? Just where I get my shoulders down, my shoulders catch it from the bottom, and then I rock up through. Just like that. So I get up here, so my head's always up. You don't want to be down, because then you're going to be rowing it with your traps if you're down here. So you gotta get your head up. Head position's key on this, and then you're up. Whereas if I'm here, it's that. You can just see, I can just feel my traps moving. And on those, you notice I really like to get that length at the bottom. So I feel like I'm stretched out and loaded in a lengthened position more. Whereas on medial delts, it's very hard to get them in the lengthened position. Because most of the stuff you're doing is all gonna be hard up here, which is a shortened position. But there, if you're hanging like this, they are gonna load, and you're catching it from that lengthen, and then you're coming up. And there's gonna be rear delts and shit in there too on that one. We're not overly concerned isolating. It's more of like a moving weight thing. All right, so these ones we're gonna lay down the bench. It's a side lateral. So the same thing as we were before, I'm kicking out, and then I'm just coming out in my arms. And this just makes it really stable. But we're gonna do an FSD 7 of these, so 7 sets, 30-second rest, 12 to 15-ish reps, and just get like, because I do FSD 7 once for chest in the week. I found doing it 2 times per week is a little too much volume. So I'm not gonna go back and do more flies or something like that. The reason why I like doing them laying down like this on the bench is because you're forced to stay a little bit more strict. So there's like really nothing you can do to cheat when you do it like this. You're not gonna be able to do as much weight, but you could really just target where you want it to be and be more friendly on your shoulders. And it's pretty even from like start to finish. Cause like, so here's a really good point about cables I wanna bring up. It's always gonna be hardest where there's 90-degree angle with the joint you're working. So it's not the hardest here. It's gonna be right about there. That's loading the mid-range because you gotta see I got a 90-degree angle with my forearm and the cable. So like whenever you can load the mid-range, the heaviest is where it's gonna be the most beneficial for muscle growth. So there it's easier than it is right there. So it's good even resistance profile, basically is what that means. It's not too heavy in the bottom, it's not too heavy in the top. You're getting a pretty even load because you're strongest in the middle. And it's also lowering the heaviest in the middle. So that makes it an even resistance group. So we'll just do like a superset here. So I'm gonna do what's called a mechanical drop set. So it's the same exercise, but you're changing the leverage of it based off where you move and where it's hardest. So on this one, I'm gonna set up so it's hardest at the bottom. So if you can see how I kind of have my cables, it's pretty close to a 90-degree angle right there at the bottom. It's gonna be much easier up here. Barely any weight up top. So this way, it's gonna load that shortened range, which fatigues quicker first. We're just focused on kicking elbows out. And then when we come up more, see where it's like 90 degrees right here, so it's harder in the bottom. Or the top of the movement, right here. Where you're stronger in, so you can do more reps. I didn't change the weight, I just changed my position, so that's called a mechanical drop set. It's also a good way, like if you're at a busy gym and there's other people on other machines and shit, you don't gotta like get in people's way. But it's literally, you're not changing the weight, you're on the same machine, and it's really quick for time. But if you're ever doing a mechanical drop set, you always want to make it harder at the shortened range, so at the bottom of the movement, like on tricep, for instance, here to start, and then you make it harder at the start of the movement. That's where you're stronger at. The muscle's always stronger in the lengthened position than the shortened. I want to do one more, man. I want to do I like this one. You probably never use this, but it's really good for tries, man.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I like it. Because it's like a rope, but it's not. But like, you could just kind of like start by pushing out. And so it's really good for like that lateral head versus like the long head in the back of the arm. So like the side of the arm, basically. That's what's gonna make your arms look big on like a front relaxed pose, is that lateral head. Whereas, you know, you're not gonna see it like on a front double bi. But the front relaxed pose is the most important pose. Especially like national level bodybuilders, like trying to get the pro cards at like national stages. Cause like there's so many fucking competitors, and those judges, they go by that first look, and your first pose is that front relax. And that's your silhouette. You can't hide anything. And that's where they kind of determine who's in first call out or not. So if you got a bad front relax, but your other poses are good, you might not get called in that first call out. And they're moving people through because there's so many classes, so many people. It's not like a pro show. They're like, oh, hold on, let's bring this guy back in the first call out. You missed that first call out, you're not making it in the first call out. And that's off that front relax and those quarter turns.
Yeah.
So you gotta have the first impressions are fucking important in everything, but especially on a big bodybuilding stage. So I do everything I can to make my front relax the best it can be, because you can't recover from a bad front relax. so I'm toast now. So that's gonna wrap up our chest, shoulder, and tricep session here in the garage. So the goal here was to kind of show you exercises that you guys probably have access to. So if I have access to it in my garage, you probably have access to it in your gym. So it's not just a bunch of fancy machines and shit. It's mostly like free weights and cables, which is good because that's the bread and butter, and everybody has access to them. So this is kind of how I train 1 day a week, and then the last video you saw me do chest and shoulders a couple weeks ago is how I do the other day. So that way I'm getting a good like mix of both worlds there. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone liking the videos and stuff like that. Josh does a great job at editing, so shout out to him. He's really the one putting a lot of time and effort in this. I'm just standing here with my fake gold chain. But yeah, keep on watching. I didn't get any questions again, so if you guys want me to answer questions, I'll do it here. But you gotta ask them. But that's it. So I think we're like 9 weeks out. Yeah, I think 9. What did I say last week? 10?
I think you said 10 on Saturday, so.
I think it's still 10. I think it's like 10 in like 1 day.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like 10, 9 weeks. Weight's like 265. So typically with me, like I'll come down and then I'll stay for a while. And I just kind of get leaner at that body weight. As training picks up, consistency picks up and all that stuff. And then I'll make another drop towards the end when I get shredded. But I'm in a really good lean spot right now, well ahead of schedule. And it's like super easy. It's kind of like scaring me because usually like I'm having to like suffer and die and hungry, but I'm not hungry at all. My training's still fucking good. Energy's still good. So yeah, it's going good. It's kind of scary.